Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
And I am the one and only Mr. Matt Nost.
We are back again this week to have a little fun with you all, counting down a new Top 10 list. And we're excited to count this one down. And, of course, this is the last episode of the month. So you will be getting shout-outs. So listen for your name at the end of the show. If you're a member of the Patreon at the $5 and above level, you will get your name shouted out at the end of the show. And is this one that one of our patrons came up with, Matt, or is this one we came up with?
No, this is a patron driven show.
Okay.
And it was by Manuel Rivera.
Oh, thank you, Manuel. Gracias, Manuel.
And he sent it in. He sent a bunch of great choices. And we both looked at each other like, dude, we haven't done Ron Howard.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of great movies. Like I can see people making a case for movies that weren't going to make my list and be like, come on, that's a great movie. And there's two I haven't seen.
Okay.
The newest, I haven't seen Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, for the people it works for, apparently it works resoundingly well.
Really? Okay.
But I've heard nothing but bad.
Yeah.
Final Marriage.
Yeah.
In the Heart of the Town, I've never seen.
No, I've never seen In the Heart of... Well, I did try to see In the Heart of the Sea, and I stopped. It was like 30 minutes in. I was like...
I tried to make time for it to see it in the theater, and then once it left the theater, I totally forgot about it. And it was like, oh yeah, In the Heart of the Sea. Yeah. But that was it for me. I think I've seen everything else the man has done.
Well, I mean, Ron Howard has done so many things, and he's one of those rare people that child actor into successful actor in his late teens, 20s, into a directing career. He worked with incredible people initially, and obviously through Happy Days, Andy Griffith on the Andy Griffith Show, John Wayne in The Shootist. So he's got a resume full of some stuff, and then made his move into directing at a young age in the 80s. Was able to find some credibility and keep going. And then, of course, he's still doing it now. As Matt mentioned, Hillbilly Elegy, and he passed the acting and directing gene on to his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, who directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian, as well as being in a number of films and the Jurassic World franchise. So, shout out to him. Shout out to the life.
The Howard family. His dad, his brother, like they've got a lot of working actors in that family.
Yeah. I mean, Ron Howard even showed up in a Jamie Foxx rap video, Blame It on with T-Pain getting out of a car.
Yeah, I think
at
it
the
was
club.
He happened to be on the lot at the same time, and Jamie saw him and said, hey, do you want to be in this video? I believe that's the story. And Ron Howard was like, sure. And walked over and was in the... It's the most Hollywood and seemingly Ron Howard of stories. Just, he seems like a normal dude that does this for a living.
It seems like a great guy, but maybe one of the most uncoolest dudes you could have stepping out of a club, instead of a car, to go into a club with rap music blaring. So,
but it's Ron Howard, so it's just like it transcends it.
I guess so.
It
was quirky for sure.
Yeah, it was, and that's why they both agreed to it. It's fun. It's it'll make people go, why is Ron Howard in this?
Yeah, 1,000%.
And we remember to this day. If Jamie Foxx had not asked him to be in it, I wouldn't remember that song. Well, that video at least, maybe the song.
Oh, all right, that's fair. That's fair.
Because it'd be just another video of an R&B single. And like, I'm sorry, I don't watch MTV or watch videos anymore, so that shit is lost on me.
I get it. Totally get it.
I
just remember the first time I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah. Look, there was pieces about the video before it came out saying Ron Howard's going to be in this video. So they got a little hype, and it helped, land it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, seems like a chill dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Corman gave him his first directorial shot.
Roger Corman did. Yeah.
On what is it? Grand Theft Auto, I believe.
Yeah.
Shit, I heard him tell a story about that once, but I'll butcher the details of what it was like. How to get the job?
Right.
I knew it came down to budget on almost every decision.
Well, of course, it's you do a small thing like that, it's always going to come down to budget, right? That just makes sense.
It's true. That's true. But yeah. So when we hadn't done it, we were like, oh, there's, just thinking about, because the other options were good, but
yeah,
it just jumped out, and there's a whole slew of movies we never get to talk about, and he makes like a solid movie every time. It's pretty rare when Ron Howard doesn't make, at the very least, a solid movie.
Yeah. I think you could argue that he does have some films that aren't good, but it's rare that he doesn't. It's rare that he makes one of those.
Yeah, that is just not good from a technical standpoint, from a like choices I don't understand.
Right.
But yeah, I think we both, once we looked at his IMDb, and we're like, how this is the no-brainer choice of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, 2021 is pretty early, so you can make those kind of calls, those grandiose calls in January. So
very true. Very true.
Well, before we get into that, do you want to do the plugs for the upcoming?
Let's do it.
We have 2 live shows coming up for last week. We told you about one, and we said it's 2 for January.
Yeah.
We're not, you want one? Screw you. You got to take 2. So February 4th, we're going to do the Golden Ticket Finals live. It is a Thursday. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Mm-hmm. So tune in for that. You can find it it'll be on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, our YouTube channel. You come over there, just type in our names in the top 10 and it should come up, and you can go and subscribe there. But yes, we will be going live 2 p.m. PT on the YouTube channel with our 2. We've gotten to the finals. People haven't seen the other semi, but we've gotten to the finals. So it's going to be quite a live event. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe we'll even bring some of you all in live to tell us your thoughts about the tournament and about who won. Yeah, and about the game.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. You just spitballed on the air, and I co-signed that immediately. If we can make the time, I'm on board.
Okay. I love it too.
Do a little after show, and we just steer every question to. Yeah, but I mean, the announcers were your favorite part, right? I mean, that was memorable, but do you see how he asked that question though? I think it was a lot in the telling.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do our best Gary Cole and Jason Bateman.
Oh man,
it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it wears off.
Man, it works so well. It's such a ridiculous addition. It works so well.
Of course,
easily my favorite part of that movie.
The Ocho. We'll have to do our own sideline interviews, Matt. Unless we get someone to do the sideline interviews, I think we'll have to do our own sideline interviews.
We don't have to do sideline interviews. We don't need to make it the Junior Schmodown. This is it's fine.
Listen, the Schmodown didn't invent that. They took that off a recording event. Not a Junior Schmodown.
They do the sideline like checking in
because they took it off the sports, so it's no big deal. It's no
sure.
We're not. They didn't come up with something novel with that sideline reporting shit. We can do that. Yeah, I mean, maybe. We'll go in the locker room. We'll go in the locker room and see where they're at.
So whoever loses, how did that feel? I think we all know how that feels. So they got to answer questions. They're getting paid, so they can't dodge them.
I'm trying to go in now, Matt. I'm not sure if I'm going to be let in to speak with the loser of the final. Yeah, it'll be like that.
Have you ever seen Brian Regan's bit about that?
No.
Where somebody comes over from the winners, like a reporter from the winner's side. He comes over to the loser's side. No, it's a coach or something like that. I can't remember. But he comes in, he's like, I got to tell you guys, they're giving you a lot of credit in that other locker room. Just, the amount of credit you're getting right now. Tough loss. It's such a good fucking bit.
He makes the best, dumbest faces.
He's an artist.
He is. He's
an artist. So. You ever heard his? He had to go. He had to go to the hospital, the emergency room, and he was having pain. But then while in there, like he was trying to figure out on the pain scale. Yeah. But he heard that breaking his leg was the worst, and he was like, "Well, that's a 10, so I don't want to be a 10." And he goes through this whole thing, and then eventually says a number, as if the guys that broke their legs are going to come in, and they're like. Like every time he steps on the broken leg, it's so good, and only he could do it. Only he can pull off this. Friday, that guy.
That's hilarious, man.
So good. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh wow. Anyway, all right. So what else? What else? So those are 2 announcements. So put them in the calendar. And then
February 4th. And then February 18th for our patrons, you'll get the show a week early on that Thursday at 2 p.m. Or probably at noon Pacific Standard Time on the 18th. And we'll have a private link for the people at $10 and above. So join us there. You get to watch the show and then listen to it again on Tuesday. Best of both worlds.
We don't edit the show, ladies and gentlemen. So you will get us authentic and raw live on February 18th doing the show. We are going to do the show. And just like with the other one, maybe some of you will be able to be, we'll read some of your comments. I don't know if we'll bring people on live, but we can certainly read your comments and stuff as we're doing the show.
That's where, okay, we should probably do this off air, but fuck it. We already did one thing on there. I'll pitch you an idea.
Okay.
So on that one, way back in when the first time we did Collider on video, and I was like, hey, what about doing this? Because after we did Spielberg, Riley came up to me and was like, you're dead wrong, and gave me the what for like 30 seconds, and then turned back into Riley and like, so how you been? Just perfect Riley. But he's like, how E.T. not on the list. I wanted to bring in and do, if somebody walk in and just like, let's get the Riley take this week and be like, you guys are idiots. You should have had this. And then we just pull them out.
Wow.
So we had that, or like, I love this choice. You're right about number 2 or whatever. Be like, there you go. There's your 2 cents. Just bring.
Who would you want to bring in? Would you want to like get that ahead of time, or would you want to bring a fan in live to do that to say that to us?
Well, I'm saying one of the patrons.
One of the patrons. All right, I'm down with
watching.
That. Yeah. All right.
See, we'll figure out the logistics of how to make it happen.
Sure. I'm cool with it. So now not only do you get to watch us live do the show, now maybe 1 or 2 of you or 3 of you will get to comment maybe at the midway mark or at the end about the overall list.
Who knows?
And your feelings about it,
Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe we'll have one of you flip a coin if we get to that point where we need to. Maybe that'll be the first fair toss in this entire history of the show.
Dude, didn't you've already gotten the numbers from somebody?
Yeah, I don't know.
Last time, and it's basically dead even. Statistically, it's within the margin of error.
I suspect that that's your cousin or some family member affiliated to you that came up with those random numbers that were so close. Apparently, I can't trust him. I don't trust him.
So, I can't remember if that is libel or libelous or what the correct term for that specific slander is.
How dare you? How dare you?
My lawyers will be reaching out. How dare you?
Yes, please.
How dare you, my cousin?
Your family listens to the show, so
they do. But have you ever seen them participate in any kind of social media activity whatsoever? No. Zip Zilcho.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't. Yeah, I don't know. Could be
so
first time for everything.
There could be a first time for everything. But yeah, I think all ideas are on the table. I do like somebody. Maybe we designate somebody beforehand. All right, we're coming to you for the coin flip.
I like it.
We're open to suggestions as well. What about this? All right. Does anybody have bongos at home? Maybe we pipe you in to do the bongos.
Yeah. Maybe if Golden Eyes is around, he can do the bongos for us. He can do the bongos that he sent us the bongos. Maybe he has bongos at his house and he can do the countdown for us. Basically, it's a pseudo live show like we did in London and New York and other places. So, and this could be a fun dry run for the possibility of maybe doing it live down the road. So who knows? We shall see. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
New York is coming eventually one day.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be doing it in New York for sure.
Yeah. Well, you just said like London and New York, and I just wanted to.
Oh, sorry. I know London and Chicago. Sorry.
Chicago. And I knew you knew that. I was just, anybody was like, man, you haven't been to, and like, we know. We're also advancing in age. The days get shorter and simultaneously longer.
You know what? You speak for yourself.
I don't know. You're a little bit closer to getting your AARP card than I am.
How dare you? How dare you?
That's I realize the truth hurts, but it is still nonetheless
so quick as a whip.
I don't deny that. I said nothing of the robustness of your acumen in regards to anything mentally, capacity wise. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
by the metric of who gets those and who doesn't, you are a little bit closer than I am.
You know what? You kissed my ass.
I know. I'm going to be there in a very short amount of time. I'm going to blink my eyes and I'm going to be right there.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what legitimately feels like. You're like, wait, what happened? 1 second I was over here. The next, somehow I'm over there. How did that happen? So,
yeah, well,
that's life, man.
That is life.
Yeah. What else is going on in your world, man? What do you got to report? What's the situation? What's the update? Is there anything to report?
I mean, what do you want? I sit at home most days. I'm sure you do as well. So
yes.
there's only so much. I'm putting in a rain gutter once we finish today. So there you go. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to hear about a pain in the ass?
Sure.
I have to put up a single. It's 14 feet long. That's it.
Oof.
To a downspout. No, it's super simple, right?
Okay.
I have all the tools. It's not a lot of tools and it'll be done lickety split, right?
Okay.
So I went to, there's a little hardware store by us. I'm like, it's a small job, so I'll throw them the business instead of going to a big box store. But they only had it in stainless steel, and I know they make it in just a white powder coat, and that'll blend better with the house. Then all of a sudden there's just this random steel gutter. So it's like, oh, that sucks. So I went to Home Depot. Okay. I got all the parts except they were missing one tiny little thing, but it's integral. You have to have it. And I'm like, fuck. So I look on their app. The next closest one is 10 minutes away, and they say they have everything. And I get up there and they have half of everything. And they still don't have the cap. So then I call the one up in Burbank, and they're like, yeah, dude, we got that cap for sure. There's like 4 open boxes. And I get up there and they have all the boxes of what the others should have, but they don't have everything else. So I have to buy the one piece I had, and then I knew the other store had everything else. Right. Because I didn't want it sit in the back of the truck as I was going to different stores. Right. So I then drive back to the very first one and buy everything else except this one end cap, because I couldn't have it sit in my truck as I was driving around trying to find the one fucking end cap. Right. So then come back here. And I was like, dude, it's a fucking piece of gutter. This job is going to take me 45 minutes to do. And I had to drive around for fucking 3 hours to get something that's going to take me 45. It was so, it's like, but at the same time, I was like, what else am I doing today? Right. Right. What have I got on the schedule today? Yeah, exactly. Let me go. I mean, it did make it inconvenient because I thought I'd be able to go to the store and get it up that day. Right. And then the days in between have been busy. So they've just been sitting there waiting to be done. But yeah, it's like, out of nowhere, what is this shit? What is this shit now? Yeah, just so I went to 4 fucking stores technically. 3 of this, or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I had to go back to 1. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm putting up a rain gutter today, finally, this week. And tomorrow I'm going to pick up masks that are going to be dropped off. I dropped off the bundles. These people are turning into smaller bundles to hand out on Skid Row. Oh, that's very cool, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, and then I take them back to the place. So basically, I'm a middleman to help them spread out. They're just trying to spread out the work. So last Friday, I dropped them off. Tomorrow, I pick them up. Nice. Little shit like that. Yeah, it's, that's good. That's good. Yeah, but at the same time, then I got stuff I got to do, but at the same time, I got some free time on my hands. Yeah. Will I watch a little NBA basketball tomorrow night? I might. I just might. Who's playing tomorrow night? Who you got tomorrow night? Is it Lakers? I gotta look. Lakers and no, that's tonight. Lakers and Bucks. My Wizards can't stay healthy. Hey, we suck and we got COVID. Come on. What's new? Yeah. Bradley Beal's putting up monster numbers, and then he should be traded again. Is back to the discussion. I mean, Russell must be like, "What the fuck, man?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How the mighty have fallen, unfortunately. Yeah. Russell got to get out of there if they're going to trade Bradley. It can't be. I mean, they're not going to build around Russell. Don't make no sense. Kind of forced to. That's what I'm saying. Year. Enjoy. Yeah. There's plenty of that. Yeah, we can. Yeah, I thought for sure I'd be getting me a jersey, but oh well. Dude, I'm looking forward to the football games this weekend. There have been some good games in the playoffs so far. Going to be knockdown, drag out notes at both of these games. You should be there. Either team could win. You can legitimately see that either team could win. Yeah, the Chiefs come.
Yeah, you can make a case with Mahomes and the concussion. Green Bay got its ass handed to them by Tampa Bay earlier this year. Does that defense just have do they match up better with that offense than any other defense in the NFL? I wonder.
Yeah, but Tampa's defense won them that game last week.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron looks possessed. So you've got a strong defense against a possessed quarterback. What's going to break? Something's got to break.
I would say, well, the more likely thing is the defense breaks.
Yeah, you think? Okay.
If Rodgers is playing, Devontae Adams, you can triple cover at all times, and he's still got a shot.
Yep.
I mean, that dude is good.
And Aaron Jones is a good running back.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is great.
Yeah.
And they've got a good O-line. And last week, he just needs one other receiver to step up.
Yep.
Plus Tanyan or however the hell you say his tight end's name.
Yeah, his tight end has been killing it, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot
of a year.
It's true. And it's a lot for that defense to step up. But I mean, yeah, because the Saints didn't have Michael Thomas at 100% health. He didn't have any catches last week. He was hurt and he played a little bit, but he didn't have any catches.
Yeah.
So Devontae's a whole other animal that can spread that defense out,
Drew Brees looked old.
Yes, he did, man.
Aaron Rodgers looks tough.
Yeah, he looks like he's in his prime. It looks like he looks like Brady in those real prime years.
Yeah, I want to see it feels weird, but I like this Packers team just for the collection of players. I texted a buddy of mine that's a KC fan.
Yeah.
Last week during the game before Mahomes went down, I was like, dude, what's it like to have a quarterback? You know what I mean? You suffered through a lot of the same quagmire. But you've had some better ones than we've had. But I was like, after all this time, what's it like to have a quarterback? Does it feel good? That's it. I would love to. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? I can't. It's been so. It's never really happened.
In my lifetime, Matt, we've never had a franchise quarterback either. We've had quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But we've never had a franchise quarterback. Theismann was the closest thing we had, and he got his legs snapped off. And then it was
Doug Williams is 1 year.
Doug was 1 year. Rippon was a lot. Did great for 1 year. That's it. And then since then, it's been a quagmire of shit. I mean, it isn't you at least have Jim McMahon. You at least have Jim McMahon as this is the singular greatest quarterback of the franchise.
Yeah, we had 2 seasons, really.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Otherwise, it's Jay Cutler.
God damn.
Yeah.
That is not
by the metrics of how you judge whether or not a quarterback is good, he fits the numbers.
Yeah.
He seemed just intolerable to be next to a lot of the time.
Yes. His own wife divorced him recently and said she's so much happier without him.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both happier. There's a reason they got divorced. I'm not saying that. He always shoulders sulked, just glaring at teammates. He had bad when he wasn't trying, his body posture literally just emanated "fuck you."
Yeah, yeah. None of his teammates talk with reverence about him, Matt.
No, he had to split wide once as a decoy, and he just kind of lazily stood there on the line. They snapped the ball, and he just turned and watched the play. And you're like, man, I fucking get it. You're a prima donna, but hey, Jesus, do you want your team to win?
Yeah. Do you want the guys to respect you at all? For fuck's sake.
Go watch the Warriors and watch the way Steph coaches up those young guys because they need positive reinforcement. They realized it. Draymond is the fatherish figure on some level that Wiseman, but Kerr wants to get him next to KG because KG did the same thing. Yeah. Wiseman's only played 3 college games. So it was really straight from high school to the NBA. Mm-hmm. And it's just you should meet with KG.
Yeah.
KG knows what you're going through and you'll figure it out. And Wiggins, they're praising and, Oubre, they're trying to talk up and just dude, try that. That might work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
yeah. Different guys respond in different ways though.
Yeah. Do you think Buffalo has a real shot here?
They can't run the ball for shit right now.
Dude. Montgomery. What's his face?
Moss.
Yeah, Moss. He can't get. Yeah.
Well, they bring Singletary in for him, and there's a reason that Singletary lost the job.
Yep.
I liked Moss like in fantasy. I was like, dude, Singletary's been hanging on now for 3. They drafted, this other dude to give him a run. But I believe he's going to be out still. So then it becomes, can Josh Allen throw enough touchdowns? And then is Mahomes' foot the bigger problem? They're saying foot. I heard turf toe.
Yeah. And his neck, what's the nerve in his neck that got twisted around? I mean, that was scary when he got up and that was like getting knocked out, because he was like wobbling when he got up.
No, his brain had a like car-like impact into the front of, his skull.
And those Buffalo D-line, if they get you, they get you. Look at Lamar. Lamar could barely do shit that whole game. So
but I mean, can Buffalo put enough in the air when it's all basically going to be coming from the air? Yeah. And then the few times it's Singletary, hopefully he can break one. His yards are averaging some 4.5, 5. It's like, okay, you're getting us good chunks.
The KC Green Bay is the stellar matchup. That's the stellar matchup. That's star versus star. The young gun with a title versus an older gun, but still a gun in his prime with a title himself. Yeah. Both trying to go for their second Super Bowl title. So I want to see that. But
I think either out of the NFC, the NFL will take.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I think they'd prefer Mahomes in the AFC.
They would, but then again, the story is, can Buffalo finally win their first ever Super Bowl? They're like, the lovable underdogs type thing, so that's possible too. But I hear you. I'm sure they prefer KC versus Green Bay or Tom Brady, because that's just great money right there.
Shoot, yeah, I'm looking forward to both games.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, we got a show to do. We got a show to do, Matt.
We do. We're
27.
Anyway, so February 4th, 2 p.m. Pacific time, the 18th, noon Pacific time.
Yeah.
And one is open to everybody. The other one is for patrons only. And we're rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah. It's our way of saying thank you. Yeah. Go ahead. You make a promise.
I was just going to do the crappy Boogie Nights.
Oh, please do it.
You keep rocking and rolling, and I'll keep rocking. Oh, it's all right, dog, because I can't do the leg kick, and that's what sells. God bless him, man. I never in a million years expected to like Marky Mark on film. But I'll be damned if I don't fucking love Mark Wahlberg in that movie.
Yeah, just don't massage your...
It's the perfect amount of stupid. Him and John C. Reilly. Just perfect, chef's kiss amount of stupid. That movie's great. Anyway.
When they're sitting there,
but I heard Ron Howard is a big fan of that movie. So back to Ron Howard.
Massive fan, Ron Howard. Yeah.
He loves him.
Big fan of Wahlberg. Big fan. Huge.
Him and Howard have been doing that. You ever seen when someone takes a picture of somebody else wearing a shirt and then they make a shirt out of that picture and then the other person takes a picture of them wearing and it just goes back and forth and it makes it this weird, they get smaller and smaller. Some people move it around and do bigger designs and shit. So something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
Right on. I dig it.
Anyway, right. So our thanks to Mr. Rivera for sending in the topic.
Yes.
And once he said it for us, we went our individual ways and created personal top 10 lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom.
I'm not going to fight you on a whole bunch of choices.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He makes a lot of solid movies. Like, if you're going to take that one over this one, I got zero problem with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And some of the ordering, I totally buy.
Okay.
Just because I think it's more fluid idea because he's, anyway. So my 10 is Da Vinci.
The Da Vinci Code? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All you.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay.
So much so that I have gone on to watch Angels and Demons now twice, at least maybe 3 times.
Okay.
And I enjoy it for what it is. I know the reason, like, I think you said Lindley didn't like it because it didn't carry on in the same vein. I was like, yeah, it became more palace intrigue and I was still on board. It's where Inferno, they begin to lose me. And by begin to, I haven't watched that movie all the way through. The book sucked. But anyway, Da Vinci Code, I hadn't read the book, And it was like, oh, will this live up to the hype? There's no way. And it's like, you know what? That was really solid for the expectations that it had to live up to and to cram it into.
Okay.
That's a good book. You entertained me. I can tell the points where you had to trim a lot of the fat of the slightly more underdeveloped Paul Bettany and Melina's, Cardinal character, to see more of the behind the scenes of that. I'm sure that got more developed. And to get, but yeah, what's a good job of giving motivations for those guys.
Yeah, it was kind of presented, and then you're like, okay, but like, why? What is it about this Opus Dei that really attracted him? Why is he such a slave to it? And then, boom, what happens to him happens to me. You're like, wait, what? So yeah, and especially the way they pumped up Paul Bettany too. You're just like, I thought there was going to be a little bit more here, but it's not an unenjoyable movie for sure. So,
but Paul Bettany's they gave more of a backstory as when Melina does that. Oh, he's my angel or whatever.
Right.
And you see the flashback to when he was a kid, kind of taking the beatings, and Melina was there as his savior. So it's like, oh, okay, that's how you made your soldier. That makes sense.
Right.
But Melina's, the whole shadowy. That's why when they did Palace Intrigue and Angels and Demons, I was like, okay, I can buy into that because that's more of the Opus Dei.
Yeah.
Catholic Church has been around for so long. I'm sure they've done innumerably shitty things that have just been lost to the ages that only the Vatican has record of.
That was an expensive movie to shoot, Matt. You're looking at some of the scenes they shot and the places they shot at. I'm like, y'all, that's a lot of money.
Making when they have to go down. It's in the Angels and Demons one, but they have to go down into the vault. They get admitted in there, and the air gets shut off. They're like, that's a set. They made a huge set for this. They definitely invested. But because of the expectations, and I walked out going, I'm assuming all the things that I just brought up, but it's still, for somebody that's never read the book, it's wildly successful. I was engaged to the very end. I love the cryptext little twist and whatnot, and then the tie-in to whatever the historical tie-ins, they do that, and the simplistic nature of just flipping the image, and just the tiny little things that are trying to make come alive from the book. But to be perfectly honest, I didn't know that there was the Council of Nicaea, where they debated what are actual gospels, and there were other gospels. That thought had never crossed my mind before. And just like, they had a fucking conference?
Oh, yeah. There were many lost gospels that were written that were supposed to be part of the Bible. Yeah.
As a guy that loves history, I was like, wow, that is crazy interesting that I just learned, and then went and found out more about it afterwards.
Yeah.
The Gospel of Dave is probably my favorite. You can find that on Wikipedia. Dave trying to pick the most of Zach. The Gospel of Zach. Oh, dude. If Cheese Whiz and Pop-Tart could ever be a gospel, that's the Gospel of Zach.
Gospel of Dave. Oh, that's
good. Jesus was like, bro. And I was like, bro.
Well, it's Dave 3:16.
Exactly. Dude, just hang back and chill. I love that proverb. It's a beautiful.
It's a great proverb.
Yes. Anyway, so Da Vinci Code was because of that. It had wild expectations for most people, and
totally, man.
I knew the hype, and it was still successful. So that's my 10.
Okay. All right. What's your 9?
At 9, I've got Willow.
It's a slight punt.
Okay.
All right. What do you got at 8?
8, I have Rush.
Punt. Yeah, that's a punt.
Okay.
So at 10, I wonder if this is on your list. I have Solo, a Star Wars story.
It is not on my list.
Okay. I rewatched it recently for an episode of The Jedi Way on my channel, and I gotta say, it was very enjoyable to watch it. Yeah, there you go. I really enjoyed it. I did not like it the first time overall, the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched this, when you're able to remove the expectations that you put on it, there's a Star Wars film and it's got to be this or that, and you just sit back and watch it, I actually thoroughly enjoyed what I was seeing. Yeah, he's not the best Han Solo, but It works for the story they've created. Donald Glover is really great as Lando. I enjoy the Chewie stuff.
Mhm.
Yes, how he got his name is terrible. Never gonna agree that it was a good thing the way they got his name. But you could tell the connection between him and Emilia Clarke is there. But we're talking about Ron Howard films. We're talking about direction. And I think for me, Ron Howard directs the fuck out of that movie. And some of the visuals are stunning, absolutely stunning to watch in a movie. So it's a heist film. I get frustrated if people start to call it a Western. It is not a Western. It is a heist film that has Western elements to it, but it's a heist film first and foremost. And on that, I on that level, I enjoy it.
I have watched it again.
Okay.
And it just, I don't know. The problems that I had for me the first time still exist.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. If you strip away the expectations.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Star Wars has certain expectations.
Right.
But even still, what would have sold me, I still maintain, is at the end, you really want to sell me on Han Solo. I'll forgive all the rest of it if when they hand over all the credits and all the money, if him and Chewie kept 10%.
Oh, yeah, right. They said it was too.
Like,
yep.
Well, I can't give them all. Like, we still got gas to pay for. We got to eat. We did a good thing. They're getting 9%. This isn't, charity's got to cover their overhead.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you because, like, by the end of the movie, he has supposedly learned his lesson of what side he's on. So then why does he have to relearn that lesson again in A New Hope? It doesn't make sense. You're absolutely right. And I thought that too as I watched it at the end. I'm like, okay, if this is a singular movie on its own before it connects up to New Hope, and you don't have to kind of think about New Hope, this is a damn good movie. But the fact that you're taking him through the same thing again, where he's he's having to learn that he's the good guy and stuff, and having to lose, it just seems weird. Yeah,
I still want him to be a scoundrel.
Yeah, he's got to be a scoundrel.
He has to.
You're absolutely right. He's got to take some money for himself.
Just a little, just a taste.
Good point. Yep.
Who's gonna break his balls up? We'd all go, bah, that's sane, that's rational. You got to if you can return 90% and you maintain that, you're better than everybody.
Right.
We can't hold you to an impossible standard. Not all of us can move the world around us with our minds and are almost gods among people. You do the best you can.
Right.
Go talk to the average person on Coruscant. I'm pretty sure they would be blown away that you gave 90% of it away.
That's another reason I enjoy it. There's no Jedi. There's no Force.
Yeah.
Right. This is just a straight up, like I said, heist movie. And these guys are trying to get this, and then what they get, the double crossing and the different elements involved, Emphas Nest, and what have you. So for me, I enjoy it on that level. It's nice to have a little bit of non-magical stuff going on in Star Wars, which is why I enjoy Mandalorian. And there was some of that stuff, obviously, this season, but it was more about the ground level stuff. And that's what I enjoy about
some of that stuff this season. Come on, you got to give it more than that.
Well, what do you mean? Who used the Force? Spoiler.
You kidding me? Grogu did. He sat on that rock thing, and then something we've never seen the Force ever do. This crazy Force moment, which was cool as shit.
Yeah, but
we've never seen the Force.
That's like
we've never seen the Force do that.
That's fair, but that's the 8th episode.
Don't care.
So you get to there's no Force or any of that stuff until.
If he was still doing the whoop, 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 whoop with like rocks and shit, sure. But he channeled the universe, creating a force field through the Force. He was one with the Force type. I don't even know the explanation. And I'm sure there's going to be a compendium book from Disney explaining what all that was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was okay. But I know what you mean.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, it's got a lot of Force stuff in it.
Okay. All right.
Fair. It does.
Fair. All right. So that's my 10. So then my number 9 is Cocoon.
Not on my list.
Oh, I love this movie. I love
going side.
Yeah, I love going back to this movie. It's just one of those films. I remember seeing it with my parents. One of those last films I saw in the theater with my family when we would go as a group, and just great stuff. the idea of these older people recapturing their youth, how it's connected to this alien species and what they've been doing, and how they've been hiding things here. And Steve Guttenberg this is like the height of Steve Guttenberg in the 80s.
Yes.
Brian Dennehy is great. He's not playing a villain. He's actually this warm-hearted protector and defender of his own species. And it's such a great alien movie that feels like the aliens are a part of the movie and not the point of the movie. And I love that. And it's so subtly done. And it even has these even tragic moments in the film, and some great acting from Wilford Brimley and Hume Cronin and Don Amici. Great stuff. Bless you.
I want to say that Brimley's like 55 or something in that movie.
Yeah.
Just, dude.
You know what's crazy? I found out we're doing Godfather on Cinephiles. Brando was 47 when he did The Godfather. 47.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But those were somehow a hard 47 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, he conveys that older age, but it works. So it works.
Yeah, because he'd probably fit 2 lifetimes into the previous 25 years. So he's carrying an extra 10 years. It's, it's not like it's Hugh Jackman who's in his mid 50s at this point. You're like,
right,
that dude's in ridiculously good shape.
He is.
For his age, it's beyond mental.
So yeah, Brimley is 51 years old when he makes Cocoon.
51.
51. Yet they're playing like 70-year-olds. Yeah.
Dude, he hit puberty and instantly had the bush top fucking mustache. You know what I mean? He has been old. He was that kid when you look back in 8th grade to grow the full beard. And you're like, what's up with you, dude? Like, what's going on in your world? Look, fucking hormones. I knew there was one kid in my 8th grade. He could grow a pretty thick fucking beard. And you're like, this is bananas.
Yeah. Don Amici was the older one. He was born in 1908.
It's Don Amici. I mean, he was old.
Cronin is 1911. And Brimley is like 1934. So, yeah. Whoa.
Oh. Don Amici, World War I, the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression, Dust Bowl America, into World War II, into civil rights, into that dude has lived through a lot of shit.
He made it all the way to 1993 before he passed. 1993.
He went from no planes to shuttles in space in his life. That's bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I just the staggering amount of pace.
Yeah.
Anyway, so aliens, bro, ancient aliens.
Book of Dave.
Aliens,
back. Bro.
Dude, I was working once. Me and a couple buddies were doing this job, and it's one of those of you grab random odd jobs in this life.
Totally.
Just like, hey, I'll pay you X. I just need your help for one day. And just like, well, I don't have any auditions. I got the day off. I got to perform that night, but I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of us, and we're all friends. That's why he asked. He's like, I need 3 guys. And then he kept ducking out, and he was watching Ancient Aliens, and he'd come back out, and you're like, dude, did you know, bro? And we're all like, oh my God, do you just go inside, smoke pot, and sit there for 20 minutes and watch Ancient Aliens and come back out here? While we're all continuously like, just slowly doing the job. It'll take the day. And he comes back to work. It's just like, fucking the fact that there is a market for that. Ancient Aliens. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Did you know? Nope.
There was a network underneath, like early America, man, before we got here.
Yeah.
And they had electricity. So underground tunnels connected everything. Like, I don't know what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
If any of the Aztec, Incan, or Mayan civilizations had electricity, I'm pretty sure we would know about it at this point.
Yeah.
But good for you. You need to smoke more pot, apparently. So anyway.
Yeah. Good stuff. Ancient Aliens. Anyway, good stuff. You haven't seen Cocoon, watch that one. It's a sweet 80s film for sure. And then speaking of 80s films from Ron Howard, my number 8 is Splash.
Not on my list.
What? Nost.
I
Oh,
watch
my God.
others before I watch Splash now. The guy's been around working this long.
Yes, he has. Splash is brilliant. So funny. Brilliantly funny, I guess. You know, you get early John Candy, early Eugene Levy, Daryl Hannah. I think it's her second or third film after, she did Blade Runner and stuff before, but she's beautiful as hell in the movie. And and Tom Hanks, of course. And it's very funny and very sweet. And it's one of those 80s comedies that you mix a lot of genres into it. There's a chase scene, there's a romantic comedy, there's actual straight up comedy, there's some gross jokes, all of it mixed in to this whole situation of a guy who falls in love with a mermaid and has been in love with her apparently, or she's been in love with him apparently her entire life because of something that happened off the pier when they were kids, when they were both young. In the water. And so it's just that whole, and then how she becomes a member of society. And essentially it's like My Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid, because she wants to be with him. So she has this deal about how she can have legs instead of fins. And all of that it's stellar stuff. And very funny moments as well throughout the movie. So I love it.
I liked it as a kid. I just don't. If you go look at his IMDb, dude's got 15 solid movies that I would have to go back and rewatch. And Cocoon and Splash were just at the bottom of that list. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to fight you on.
Right.
If you want to go back I totally get it. It's just like now I watch all these others, but you can't deny me that you don't like that movie. Whatever it may be. There might be something on my list, but I can't imagine this case. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So what's your 7?
My 7 is Ransom.
Oh, God. All right, that's all you.
Really?
That movie sucks. But all right, go ahead.
Dude, I like Mel Gibson and Gary Sinise playing a villain for the first time. It really worked for me as he just ups the ante over and over, and it was foreshadowing a bunch of Mel movies we would get.
That's true.
That's true. So it kind of primed the pump for a bunch of other movies that I like of his. So I credit that movie for kind of opening up that, looking at Mel in that kind of light, taking the mania from like Lethal Weapon, but now directing it solely in this more real world situation. What are you looking up? Its rating or something? I
was trying to see where it was. Cause I mean, I remember not liking the movie. I remember it didn't get good reviews. And
it might not have.
You remember that trailer, like, give me back my son.
It's up in the ante. Like they're asking for $1 million or something, and then he just shows up and he offers that as a reward and flips it back on him. And then they're now the type of villain that Sinise makes the casting of Sinise believable to me, but his crew as a whole, if memory serves, they're not as menacing, I guess, as they could be.
Yeah.
Well,
Donnie Wahlberg's in this thing. Liev Schreiber, I guess they're all part of it, right? They're all part of the crew. And then Lily Taylor, of course, is the weird connection there.
What's its rating? What do you got?
Well, it's 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
boom.
It's not bad. It's
a solid movie.
It is.
Guy makes solid movies. What about audience score?
The audience score on it is a whopping 62%. So
it's one of those times where I side with the critics.
I go with the audience on this one. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you do, but you're in the minority at 38%.
Not with the critics. Oh, not with the audience. The audience.
Yes, you are. 62%. That means 38% didn't like it. So you're in the minority, 62 to 38.
I guess so.
Yeah. It's not as overwhelming as 3 out of 4 people enjoyed it, but it's still a high percentage.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's my 7. Deal with it, Captain Judge-O.
Listen here, I'm not here from the guy who went over Solo. You can't take it. Don't dish it out.
Somebody's living in the past, man. I'm in the present going forward. And that is also in the Book of Dave.
That is in the Book of Dave.
Just keep moving forward, man.
This is why we need t-shirts. We should go to the Book of Dave. All right.
Yeah, the Book of Dave. Boy, well, you want to start a little controversy? Let's do it. Get some pub.
I'm down with it, man.
The Book of Dave. All right, t-shirt. Somebody start mocking up. We'd like to see some design specs.
We would. You've got to use the Bible in some shape or form.
Keep it moving forward, man, and just keep on going on.
All right, what's your 6? What's your 6, man?
My 6 is Backdraft.
Oh, all right, fine.
Dude, I love Backdraft. I struggled to not put it higher.
If Far and Away ends up on this list, I'm going to take you off.
You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it.
God,
look,
right, go ahead.
Baldwin storyline with the love interest, that kills it.
Jason
Lee. It really does.
Yeah.
It does. But
so bad.
Kurt Russell is awesome. I love De Niro in his tiny little part.
De Niro's great.
Yeah.
De Niro's great.
Yeah, Kurt Russell, and then son of a gun.
Who?
I'm blanking on his name. Plays on a lot of westerns. Salt and pepper hair, but it's more salt these days.
Okay.
Deep furrow wrinkles, really skinny.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Scott Glenn. Lateral.
Scott Glenn.
Yeah, Scott Glenn. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole aspect of it, of like the sabotaging and the rationale and trying to pin it on Kurt Russell, and that aspect of the storyline, I find great. And the politician side, slimy little fuck that he is. I think all those, it's just the Baldwin, but I like the rest of it so much that I have no problem glossing over it. But that storyline really drags. It's like, it seems so strange.
Yeah.
That's the only real hiccup in the movie for me. But at the same time, what is it, like 20% of the overall story? 25%?
I think it's about 60 to 70% of the movie, to be honest with
you. to your perception, yes. And perception is reality. But I think in runtime, it might be like 20%.
Well, I thought Baldwin was horribly miscast in this movie.
He was. They could have done better.
Because, I mean, if you've got this brother relationship that you're going to make a big deal about in the movie, it's got to have like some belief. Because first of all, Kurt Russell looks nothing like this motherfucker. So let's start there. And it's not like he doesn't have brothers. This should have been Baldwin and William together, Alec Baldwin and William together doing this movie. But Kurt Russell, you could have found someone else who looked a little bit more like Kurt Russell. So I didn't really buy that. And I get what Kurt Russell was doing. He's trying to, tough love. And this guy's he's essentially joining Internal Affairs, right? When he's hanging out with De Niro, Internal Affairs for firemen, because he's like exploring what's going on here. But I put this in the bucket of these 90s movies that just are a little too simplistic and not as interesting as they think they are, in my opinion. And Ransom goes in that bucket too. Okay. I think, for Internal Affairs, the one with Richard Gere and Andy Garcia, that's a damn good movie, but it's still a little bit, it's trying to come off a little more complex than it actually is.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of those 90s movies that are around that time. And I put that in this bucket. Arlington Road,
I think,
Blown Away,
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
Those the extraneous parts of that don't work as well as they do for Backdraft for me. It's still like, they may not look alike, but if you go back and watch it, Kurt Russell is selling the living shit up. When he is drunk, the look in his eyes, like he immersed himself within that role.
Yep. I'm not going to argue that at all. Kurt Russell's great.
Yep. And his interactions, the one-on-ones, when it's just the two of them in a scene, they're great. They do have a good rapport. They don't look fuck all alike, but
right. Who's his wife? Rebecca De Mornay? Is that his wife in the movie?
Was it? It's a little young. Oh, no, De Mornay. That sounds right.
I think
that sounds right. Sorry, I was thinking of Rebecca Romaine Stamos, and I was like, oh, it's her time. Yeah. No, De Mornay. That sounds right.
And the Metascore for this is 38%. Just putting it out there. The Metascore.
Yeah, Metascore is tough.
Yeah,
it's probably in the 50s on Rotten.
Donald Sutherland. Oh yeah, I didn't even look up.
Yeah, he plays the arsonist.
Yeah, he's great.
That is just enraptured by fire. I love him in it. He's great. I totally believe that he's an arsonist.
He's good in the movie. I'm not going to.
There's a lot to like in it.
He's like a Lecter, though. He's like a Lecter in that movie.
He is. He's just so transfixed.
Yeah. The joy he takes when he talks about it. Right. Because everyone's trying to convince De Niro that he's okay, that he's fine, that he's not as crazy as people think. And then De Niro like brings up fire, and then you watch him completely change, Donald Sutherland. And he can't help himself. He can't help himself. Yeah. It's a good scene. No denying. no deny.
And because he loves it so much, he understands its danger and knows it needs to be put down. Like it has its use and it has its purpose.
Yeah.
Him walking through and treating it like a crime scene that it is.
That's
determining
amazing.
where, and then he sprays that gas and explains like what a backdraft is. And I think there's a lot to like, but the insults you hurl land. Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I just don't care because I still enjoy the movie.
Right. There you go. There's your guilty pleasure.
I don't mind that I'm in the okay. On an upcoming show, we talk about guilty pleasures. I guess Backdraft is a guilty pleasure of mine.
That's fair. Totally fair. Full disclosure, sometimes I send my top 10 lists to my two friends on the Geek Buddies, right? Michael and Shannon. And both of them responded with, "What? Where's Backdraft?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, it's not on the list. It's not on the list."
So that's 3 out of 4.
I'll give you.
I give
you props. Yeah.
I may have it higher than they do.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't. That's a debate for a different day, and perhaps on the live show on the 18th, we'll bring that up when we bring them on. However, we do this, who knows? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So that's my 6. What do you got?
Okay. My 7 is Willow, which is the punt from earlier. Okay. I don't love it as much as other people do. So, and clearly you feel the same way, Max, since you had it at 9. I think it's a good film. Sure, it's watchable, it's enjoyable, but it's not really that great of a film. But I moved it up a little bit higher here because I know the TV series is coming. And so I watched some of the scenes in preparation for our show. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of enjoyable. So for what it was, and the fact that he's never veered into fantasy like this since Ron Howard, I think he did a pretty great job with it, or a pretty good job with it, so.
I saw it in the theaters, kid. I just loved it. I think at this point, I've watched the others more.
Yeah.
And I did rewatch Willow like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So I've seen it relatively recently.
Yeah.
And it's still good. I love the Val Kilmer stuff with Mad Mardigan.
Oh yeah.
And I understand why the story doesn't focus on him for obvious reasons, but that's what drew my eye the most.
Yeah.
So I think when I watch it now, I just kind of want more Mad Mardigan stuff.
Understood.
Yeah. So I still like the movie. That's why it's lower. It's just like, but I know that those parts may be enjoyable to me, but I'm longing for something else that's never going to exist.
Yeah. I agree. And I know the TV series is coming and people love it. I mean, obviously Warwick Davis is fantastic in the movie. I mean, Joanne Whalley and Val met on the movie. So it got married off the movie and all that. But we'll see what happens when they drop the TV series. Certainly, you can't deny that people love this movie. People reference it all the time. People get into it. So, yeah, definitely.
But I also understand, like, I've got some friends that would laugh right in our faces and be like, Willow's terrible. And they could list 15 things. And they're the same age.
True.
I'm thinking of one in particular right now that I know for a fact would be saying that to my face. It'd be like, dude, Willow's terrible. Here's why. Like, all right.
Fair enough.
But he's that type of person. So I don't really, it's fun.
Right.
You're going to be negative about everything. Anyway.
Yeah. So then my number 6 is The Paper.
I haven't seen it in so long. Please talk about it. Maybe I'll see it on your description.
I love the movie. And I know we saw Spotlight and other, which Michael Keaton was in as well, and other films about newspapers we've seen through the years. But this one is stellar because this is right at that time when the news industry is at the height of its power in this country, right? There are multiple newspapers. Companies are starting newspapers. Kids, these are things that they used to print on paper and people would buy them and read them for a quarter or 50 cents or $1 even. And to buy the New York Times at the Starbucks, it's just when it was starting out, the New York Times, you have to go to a newsstand. Now you go to Starbucks, but you had to go to a newsstand in the past to get these papers from different cities, and they upcharged you because they're from different cities. So this is huge. So the film is about these people who are running a newspaper. Glenn Close has been hired to be in charge of the newspaper. Michael Keaton is this guy who is very driven to make the news.
It's legit.
Yeah, legit. She's trying to go a little more of the
commercial.
commercial route, like Network, right? She's essentially the Faye Dunaway character, and Michael Keaton with Robert Duvall is the Peter Finch and what's the Robert Ryan character in the movie. So you're seeing that. Is it Robert Ryan? No, it's not Robert Ryan. Damn it, I forget the actor's name in Network. Damn it, God forgive me. But yeah, that whole thing, and then it leads to this like climax where they're fighting literally physically in where they're making the newspaper, the factory where they make the newspaper, the building where they make the newspaper.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, to stop it. And so it's great stuff,
Yes.
This kind of like change in our society from legit news into more sensationalism. And I think Ron Howard did a great job. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
But I was just going to say, Keaton was fighting about, it was like a murder conspiracy within the police or something.
Yes.
They're trying to put the story out. And that's what, I mean, it's got the right stakes. And Keaton's an asshole, but it's an asshole that you understand why he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And my guess is he's kind of an asshole every day, but this time the asshole's right. Yeah, I just haven't seen it in so long, and there have been other movies similar to that. Right. So I guess I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch it again. It would make my top 10 and bump something else off.
Yeah. I mean, just I mean, it only made 48 million. Is one of these underperforming films of his, for sure. So yeah.
It's part of that 15. There's, now what, 3 others that we haven't brought up that made it.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Robards in this thing, Marissa Tomei, Glenn Close, as I said, Robert Duvall, as I said, Randy Quaid, Jason Alexander, Spalding Gray, Catherine O'Hara, Lynn Thigpen. This is a great list of actors all through this. A young Jill Hennessy is in this thing as well.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So
that's very young Jill Hennessy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people involved in this, and you're right. This is also about a murder, and it's about to do with the government, the NYPD, all of this. So this idea of busting through that and what you can do there. I mean, City Hall was around this time as well. I think the one with Pacino and John Cusack. So this was like the '90s approach to like, you know, exposing the corruption within the systems.
But I think you're
police.
Then comparing it to something like All the President's Men, or like you're living up to lofty, trying to break like a huge story type of thing, or uncover corruption. Like, you just Anyway,
So I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, recommend it. All right, that was my 6. So what's your 5, man? Let's get into our top 5.
Is A Beautiful Mind.
Okay, that's my 4. Cool.
Okay. I think so. A Beautiful Mind may be a better movie than something that's higher on my list, but it's all rewatchability. And Ron Howard made a bunch of rewatchable movies to me, so it's just like I know I watch these others or will watch in the future, type of more thing. But it's a very interesting character, but a mathematician that kind of gets lost in his own mind through mental illness. Yeah. But somehow was still, like the brilliance was still trying to escape. Yes. And eventually he managed to harness and understand himself. But I can't even, think of all the neurons and whatnot that are firing in his brain, where he can look at the complexity of the world to that degree and try and find the systematic patterns underneath it and be successful, and simultaneously are creating fictional beings in your life that you interact with and create memories with. Yeah. What else is going on in that mind subconsciously that we don't, it seems very differently hardwired compared to the average person. Just a fascinating movie.
I agree with you. I loved it at the time when I watched it. And you start to read more about it afterwards. You're like, oh, they kind of twisted some facts around, which later on, when I talk about another film, I didn't mind. But with this one, I did when I found out, but it still features some stellar performances, obviously from Russell Crowe, because he won the Oscar for this one, but certainly Paul Bettany, Ed Harris, the little girl, and Jennifer Connelly. The chemistry they have is great, Connelly and Russell Crowe. And then the scenarios that he keeps putting him in throughout the movie. When the twist that first moment when the twist happens, unless you've guessed the twist, I feel like it shocks you. You're just like, holy shit, this is what's going on. Yeah. And it's brilliant in that way. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely love it for what it's able to do. there in the moment. So it's that, and then how you're seeing the rest of the movie go along, and his battles with it, and the scene at the end is there's two scenes. The pen scene is incredible.
It's incredible,
right? And then the scene at the end when you realize, oh, these are never going away. He just learned how to live with it. And how many people have the mental fortitude, Matt, because he did it without drugs, apparently, to be able to keep these things at bay and understand how to keep them at bay.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a practical shut-in for a big chunk of his life, according to the movie, just living at home, type of lost in a world that he's not happy is being created.
Yeah, right.
Just
Russell's great in the movie too, dude. Russell's great.
He is. But I watch these others more. That's it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. All right, so then my number 5 is Rush.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this one could climb high. I've only seen it once, but I was like, that was good.
Yeah.
I want to see it in a few more years and see it might inch higher.
Okay. So where do you have Rush? Do you have it on your list? No.
Yeah. It's a punt from earlier. I had it at 8.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No, yeah, I've seen this thing maybe 5 times now. Because I'm a sucker for sports movies. But there's such and Hemsworth is great. And it's good to see Hemsworth outside of Thor do something that you can enjoy him in.
I know.
And Daniel Bruhl too, of course, another Marvel person, right? He's involved in the Marvel MCU as Baron Zemo. He's going to be in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It's Daniel, isn't it? Daniel Bruhl?
I'm sorry, is that what it is? Sorry, Daniel Bruhl. Yeah. And their chemistry throughout the movie and the two different approaches to what they're doing is stellar to watch, and how they go from absolute rivals because one approaches it with like the super amount of energy and mental fortitude because he has to climb up the ranks to get into position versus someone who's kind of feels like it's all kind of natural to him, the approach to it, and then how they have these conversations that kind of break down these walls between them. I mean, it's almost like you compare it to Bird and Magic. It always seemed to be easier to Magic. Bird almost seemed to be the guy that was in the gym like hours and hours and hours because it's Showtime versus, blue collar. But
except he wasn't.
Except it wasn't. Right, exactly. But the way it was portrayed, it seemed that way. And when you find out later, both these guys put hours and hours and hours into
Larry Bird shoveled his own driveway in Terre Haute.
Yeah.
Or
Magic would never do that. Though. Magic would pay somebody to do that. There was a difference always.
Yeah.
But Magic worked hard on his game and adapted his game, improvised. When they lost the title that one year and people were trying to run him out of town, what he did in the offseason, confronting for the first time ever people hating him or not wanting him to be like he took that and through force of will he changed his game to be a certain thing and won titles. And so it's like those things. And so you see here the same thing with both of these gentlemen. So I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
Anyway, perhaps just upon rewatchings, it'll go up. I think to some degree, did you see that McEnroe versus, dang it, I'm blanking on his name, but it was Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Borg versus Borg. Yeah.
That's another thing, which is like a tete-a-tete, and it's a character study on the two of them. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm curious if in a few more years, I'm going to like it still as much.
Mm-hmm.
LaBeouf's putting together an interesting little resume.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, hey, by the way, have you seen the Tiger Woods documentary yet on HBO Max?
No, is it good?
Oh, dude.
Really? Don't you know everything about him?
Stellar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot of exploration of his dad, like what his dad did to him. The first part is very much about stuff that you didn't see before. There's footage you haven't seen before and stuff like that. So
no tapes to 911 from a certain evening or anything?
That's how it starts. So,
really?
Yeah.
Back to how he got there?
Yes.
So
go through the progression.
Part of the redemption arc of Tiger and then we show him at the end and he is a father and he's won again and climbed back to the mountaintop. Yeah, I get it.
But they also bring in the mistress, Rachel, whatever her name was, who had the affair with him and whatever. And then you find out like how many of these women had the similar experience and all of that. You're just like blown away by what this fucker was doing, So, it's a stellar dog, man.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
He seems the type that he grew up and became wildly internationally famous from playing golf to a degree that, it's difficult to even put into words.
Mm-hmm.
I am not so shocked that he was catting around, because I can't imagine he was getting many ladies when he was spending every waking moment out on golf courses with a bunch of middle-aged men his entire life.
Right.
I'm not excusing the action, but it's like freshman year in high school, there was a kid that dropped out after the first semester because his parents had created an environment that was such strict rules that when he got to college and he had no rules, he just spun out of control. And he started drinking way too much, and he stopped going to class, and just eventually he went back to school,
right.
But he dropped himself out because he's just like, I can do whatever I want,
Totally get it.
Yeah. It could have been any one of a number of behaviors, but
yeah.
But okay, so they open there.
Yeah, and then they go backwards, but then they keep, going back and forth and what have you. So, but it's very, very interesting. I can't recommend it enough. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's just not shocking behavior for.
Right.
I mean, it's just. It's weird that it came from Tiger because we didn't expect it from Tiger.
True.
To say that I'm shocked by an athlete that's worth more than any other athlete in the entire world did this? No, I'm not shocked. Is not the word I would choose.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would have been shocked by other things, like he had a serious drug problem. Be like, whoa, really?
That they do touch on that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like he got into cocaine or he got into party drugs.
You could argue opioids are just as damaging. Yeah.
But he got introduced to it via his doctor and stuff as pain medication and got hooked that way. So it's a little less than the destructive nature of Capriati seeking out the party lifestyle.
Oh, true. I'd love to see a documentary on that. I'd love to see a documentary on her, man. That's
but I understand that's another way of like, I can do that now. I've never been able to do that.
People the usage of drugs is always about self-destruction, isn't it? Like once you taste it and the addiction, and you can speak on this, obviously, Matt is an alcoholic, like it stems from a need to feel this way, right? And then chasing that feeling,
perhaps
because you don't have a semblance of that feeling in your real life, or you don't have as strong of a sense of that feeling in your actual life. So you chase this feeling because it brings you some kind of comfort or joy or release.
Yeah,
I would imagine. It's the same thing like with me, my addiction sometimes with food or sweets, it comes from like the joy I get from the sweets. It's not a joy I'm necessarily experiencing in my world all the time,
Yeah, I think people come to addiction in a whole bunch of different ways. That is definitely one. I know some addictions are, because when I started, it was just like, I like to drink. It's fun.
Yeah.
But then the fun, and eventually problems happen and you don't deal with them because you're drunk and it just compounds. And then you're drinking, it's the bad cycle. I'm drinking because I'm sad and depressed, but I'm sad and depressed because I'm drinking, but I'm drinking to alleviate the depression. It's just cyclical and it gets bad. But that was my version.
Right.
I think there's a whole bunch of different ways, but it's not, people do it. It happens.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked that an athlete catted around, so to speak, with Perkins waitresses.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's weird that it was like, really? Like you were that much of a horn dog? A Perkins.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it from Tiger. That's why it's so shocking. But if you tell me if you found out all these years later that LeBron had like 4 mistresses,
I'd be shocked if LeBron.
You would be, but at the same time, you're like, but he was like crazy famous.
Yeah. But like Magic and MJ always made sense, right? MJ, the rumor was that he had a woman in every town.
He had orgies with Dr. Buss.
Yeah, Magic, you mean? Yeah. But like Jordan had the rumor was Jordan had women in almost every town in the NBA.
Very well could have.
And was paying their rent for apartments so they would be on call for him whenever he was in town.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The anomaly was AC Green, who wasn't with anybody until he got married. Think about it. That's the known sex life outside of the truly salacious stuff. But the NBA was like, dude, this dude's not doing any of it. And he's on the Lakers.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's 20 some odd other players at that moment going, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You
said it's wasted on you. LA is wasted.
It is, because that is a motivation for a lot of 20-year-old millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking. Yeah. So, once again, Tiger. Not shocking, But at the same time, it's like it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not condoning it. It's just to say that it was surprising on neither of us and neither any other rational adult once we've been around sports long enough. Like if Lou Gehrig came out in Lou Gehrig's era, that would have been shocking. Or Babe Ruth, as much as he catted around.
Babe Ruth catted around, but Lou Gehrig would be shocking.
I'm just saying, yeah, but if you found that out all these years later,
yeah,
about a Lou Gehrig, or in his time though, and people are like, oh, women fainting on the streets. It just backwards they went. Mickey Mantle, they kind of knew, was a wink.
Oh yeah, even DiMaggio to a degree.
Oh, you think so? DiMaggio, my recollection is he always played like a good Catholic.
DiMaggio is Derek Jeter for his time. Subtle, class.
Derek Jeter has gift backs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure DiMaggio did too. He's just one of those guys who was so singularly driven and loved the atmosphere.
Mr. Coffee.
That's right, Mr. Coffee.
In its later years, hey, go ahead and grab one. They're by the front door. Just a stack of Mr. Coffees. Go ahead, take one for you and your parents. Go right ahead. All right. See you later. Yeah, I'll call you. Oh
man. Anyway, all right.
We're dead athletes we want to slander. No, I think we should. Let's do it. Come on. Who else you want to go after?
Anyway, let's what's our next one?
My 4?
Yeah, what's your 4, bud?
Is not going to be on your list. It's Gung-Ho.
Oh yeah, not on my list. Knock yourself out.
I love it.
I love this. You bash Cocoon and Splash. You can tell me Gung-Ho. Okay, knock yourself out.
Dude, I saw it at the right age, and we owned the VHS when I was a kid, and I've watched this movie innumerable times. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen Gung-Ho. I love Gung-Ho. If I had seen it as an adult, perhaps maybe wouldn't love it near as much. But just small town like a Michigan area, and they're trying to get a Japanese car company, I believe it is, either Japanese or Korean car company to come over here and make their cars in American factories and give American jobs. And Michael Keaton's character is the one that's the union organizer that tries to sells them on this idea, then goes to Japan and brings back. And it's the fallout of cultures colliding and trying to make this marriage work. And he's juggling all this stuff. What kills me at the end is when they're trying to rush out, they got to hit a quota number and they're just driving out half-finished cars and like, we'll get to it later. And the overall CEO shows up and Keaton's trying to show off his favorite cars. This one right here. And he goes to buff a window that's not there. And it's like doing great mime work. It's just gorgeous. And he chooses to take the one car off the end of the line. You know what? I'm going to take this one home. And people are cheering. And the wheels fall off like 5 feet down, but it's not done for, it's like Keystone Cops level laughs. It's done for laughs, but also like the heart of it.
Yeah.
I think it's for what it is, which is just a feel good movie from the 80s. It succeeds wildly. I love it. I'll gladly watch Gung-Ho tonight.
Okay. All right.
So I knew there was a good chance it wasn't going to be on your list. Nowhere near this high.
Yeah.
But
no.
See, I own the VHS, one of the first like 12, 15 VHSs we had. I've seen that fucking thing a lot of times. Gung-Ho for life.
All right. I'm not going to fight it. That's your thing, man.
Boom. So now my number 3.
Yeah. What's your 3?
Cinderella Man.
Yeah, that's my 2. That's my 2. Yeah. Good film. Love this.
Yeah, it's
we've talked about it many times on the show, Matt. It's one of those films that whenever it's on, I'm watching it. I love the message it sends. Do I like the Patty Considine storyline? His friend down in the docks and down in Tent City, blah blah blah. No, I don't like that storyline. I think it takes away, but you kind of need it so that he's connected to some version of the common man because he's a boxer and blah blah blah.
Yeah, you need to see the depression as a whole.
Exactly, and we're already seeing it through his eyes, obviously, because he was going through the depression. Jim Braddock was himself, but like seeing people who are even deeper in the hole than him, you needed that kind of balance, I guess. I just didn't think it was as powerfully done as it could have been. But other than that, I think the film is stellar. I think it's moving. It's touching. Yes. The relationship between him and Renee Zellweger is so sweet. Him like asking for money, then him returning the money later.
The hat in hand scene. And the weird thing is the first time I saw it, I thought it was all right. And I believe it was you bringing it up and be like, you need to rewatch it. And rewatching it was like, I can't believe the magic of this didn't really work on me the first time. But that hat in hand, and he gets pulled aside afterwards by Giamatti. He's like, you didn't have to do this. You could have come to me. And then you see Giamatti's situation, and it's just as bleak.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just the two fucking chairs, the artifice they're trying to maintain. It's like the assholes in Beverly Hills that move in and they instantly tear down the house and build a new one. And you're just trying to one up the Joneses for no fucking reason other than to spend money. But that was his former life. And now it's just this shell.
Yeah.
But he still has a good heart. But that hat in hand scene is just so good.
It's just as good as when he returns the money.
Yeah.
Just that symbolism of it, right? And this is not about, political anything. This is a man who lived by a certain code. And his family mattered more than his pride. And so in that moment, when he's asking for the money, it's to be able to keep his kids with him, to keep his wife with him, to not have them go live with his sisters, and the pride as a man to not being able to provide for his family that overtakes his pride. So he sits there in the center of these rich dudes who are not suffering in the depression and says, I need this much or anything you can give. And this was a proud fighter who has to go and do that. And then later on, when he chooses to return the money back to the government for them helping him through the time, it's a powerful moment. I can provide for myself. I'm back on my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And there's a strength in that. And so when it leads to the fight, and dude, what's his face who plays Max Baer? It's not Jeffrey Dean Morgan. What's his name?
Bierko.
Yeah, Craig Bierko. Woo! Damn.
Good.
Damn.
He brought to life a character that's, when you hear about him, if you get into boxing, it's a great name. First off, Max Baer. Great name.
Baer. Yeah.
I mean, you fucking kidding me? Max Baer.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that? That's Titan Shark. Okay.
Titan Shark.
Max Baer? This is the most bear you can ever.
Yeah.
I did a show once and it was put on it was at a college, and the kid that organized it was this Indian kid. His name was Man Beer. And I was like, Man Beer? Are you kidding me?
Great name.
It's like calling your kid Whiskey Punch. It's Whiskey Punch. Like, that's a tough fucking kid. Never met him.
I love Man Beer. That's a tough name.
Man Beer? I loved it. I honestly, you could tell it was the first time anybody had ever said that to him because the glow in his eyes. I was genuine. I was like, where's Man Beer come from? Like, that name was awesome. Yeah. Man Beer. Dude. Just ridiculous. Anyway, Max Baer, great name, but it's almost larger than life kind of walking brick wall that killed the dude.
Yeah.
That happened. It happens every once in boxing. It's much rare now.
Yeah.
Because guys can go on longer in fights than they'll allow them to now. Because just because you say you're okay, sometimes you are not.
Yeah.
You just trained yourself through muscle memory to do this.
Yeah. And of course, people are more hyper aware of it now than they ever were before. So you rarely see it now. But back then, I'm sure there were people. Remember, Jack Johnson fought 70 rounds and shit. So it's like,
Now, I bet you know just as well as I know. I know some signs of a concussion immediately.
Yes.
Which would have been lost on everybody in the entire audience.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not in there. His hands are still up he's on the canvas and be like, yeah, that's not good. He's concussed and pretty heavily if they're just holding stiff like that for this long.
Yeah. Do you see the leg kick on the ground? That's him. He's out. Yeah.
He's fucking out cold.
As I said earlier with Beautiful Mind, they took a little bit of creative license here with Max Baer, because Max Baer wasn't this like evil dude that they portray him in the movie.
No,
he's a rare kind of, I think he's Jewish. It was a rare kind of Jewish athlete that achieved the pinnacle of his sport. But they had to portray him a certain way to kind of make sure that Jim Braddock was like the hero coming out of this situation. Some people have accused the film of anti-Semitism, and I can understand that, but I mean, it's not, he's not portrayed Jewish. He's not spoken of as Jewish. It's not mentioned in any way. I couldn't recall. And I don't remember thinking anything like that about him. I just thought he was a beast. And so when you get that scene, when he's talking to the commissioner, he's like, what are you trying to tell me? You're trying to tell me boxing's dangerous? He's like kind of saying, let me tell you something about my profession. And that's what it is. My profession, I know what the situation is and I know what I'm walking into.
And I'm going to do it.
And I'm going to do it. Yeah. Yep.
Because once I'm in there, that is my job, and I'm going to pulverize you.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to look out for him. Yeah, I didn't know that he was, the first time I heard Max Baer, I just thought he was of German or Austrian or some sort of descent like that. So he has like already he's got like a Hessian vibe in my head. You don't fuck with Hessians, man. They can fight.
Yeah.
It's like today's modern day Mexican boxer. Dude, Mexico turns out some badass dudes that are 105 pounds and can rabbit punch your teeth out of your skull.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Dude, the sheer number of iron-jawed 110-pound fighters is incredible.
Yeah.
But then you got, they go up the ranks too now. Now you got, light heavyweights and heavyweights.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you could do that for any society though, if you really want to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, they got some badass like Asians, all the martial arts. So you just go right down the line. It doesn't really fucking matter. But anyway, yeah. So I just assumed that. I didn't realize the
maybe not background. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that revolved here with him. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. All right. So that was 3-2.
Yes.
All right. What's your 3?
3 is, where is it? I put it someplace here. Apollo 13.
Okay.
Slight punt, huh? All right.
Yeah, but slight bump. Slight punt.
Okay. All right. So then my number 2 is Cinderella Man, and my number 1 is that what we're going to? No, wait, we got to go back to you. What's your 2?
My number 2.
What's your 2?
Which is Frost Nixon.
Yeah, that's my 1. So
okay. I vacillated between. When I originally wrote the list, Frost Nixon was 1 and Apollo 13 was 2.
Right.
And it flip-flop a Rusku about an hour and a half ago. And I decided to put it because I've seen Apollo 13 more times. And it just that's how I'm deciding to make this list.
Okay. All right.
So I guess Frost Nixon to start.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. This is one. I mean, we've talked about it on the show, but like this is so much fun to. I think this is. How can I say this correctly? I think this is one of the most interesting films Howard has ever directed. Because he is using the camera in ways that he hasn't normally used them in other films, and it's interesting to watch. And Langella's portrayal as Nixon, and Michael Sheen as God, what is his name? David Frost. Brilliant. Rebecca Hall is great in this thing. Everybody involved. Matthew McFadden. Sam Rockwell.
Oh, Sam Rockwell's great when he's basically like, fucking, I dare Nixon to show up here. What are you gonna do? And then he shows up and he's like, hi, Mr. President.
Yeah, when he's shaking his hand.
Fucking great. Of course you would. Still the president, even if you despise the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was a YouTube troll come to life in that moment, man. YouTube troll come.
Anybody. Exactly. Tough guy from afar, and then you get up close and be like, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, we're good, right? I don't think so. So,
So I mean, all of it, just all around, man. Just great dialogue, great scenes, the way it progresses, and you feel the fear that Frost has that this is not going to work, Matt, that he could lose everything.
Oh, right? I know. That everybody thinks he's some joke.
Yeah.
And he wants to give, to make his bones. And I'm more than just a game show fucking guy.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible that like, not even Bob Barker doing this.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I think we had more respect for Bob Barker than he had for doing. So not even. You got to go Chuck Woolery. Wink Martindale, I think, is more correct. Like, you'd be like, he wants to do a political interview? What? Like, what? Wink Martindale? Wink? Okay. What the fuck are they going to talk about? Because you have to believe that he's got a little bit of intelligence. And Chuck Woolery is a buffoon. He always has been. But like Wink Martindale, you could see there's a little bit of intelligence there. And you can't even say Alex Trebek, because Trebek radiates intelligence, whereas Wink, you're not sure, Sure. Yeah. And oh crap, I'm blanking on his Woolery. I always took him. His job was to be silky smooth. Yeah. That was his job in every show he was on. It was just like, all right, what did the second Bachelor say?
Yeah. Your job is asking people about their dates. Give me a fucking break, you know? So
You did other game shows before that, but ultimately at the end,
yeah, I guess.
I mean, you are the coaching tree goes from you to Studs to a couple other shows. So congratulations. That's part of your legacy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy that Wink Martindale, and even for a younger generation, I don't know who, because now they get celebrities to host game shows.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot rarer to have some unknown doing a big game show. At least that I find out about. I don't really watch game shows anymore.
Yeah, not really. Not that much. Yeah.
No. Jeopardy I'd still watch, but that's about it.
Yeah, Jeopardy, and then we watch Celebrity Mastermind sometimes on the BritBox, that British game show, like, that's just asking knowledgeable questions, and because it's fascinating, dude. Because obviously, what you're going to get asked in America is not what you're going to get asked in England.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a way of expanding your mind a little bit more. And it isn't just about England. It's like all these other countries that surround England, and you're just like, oh shit, I didn't even know about that. So it's great.
Yeah, they've got a couple shows that I think are a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do watch those because you can catch them on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so then are we up to your one, which is Apollo 13, I imagine?
Yes.
Go ahead, man.
I don't know. It's another, like, there's been surprisingly few NASA movies for a society that managed to create a bureaucratic entity that landed on the moon.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we don't see that more cinematically. It's like we're bored with space, and I don't even know how that's possible. Unless it's got superheroes in it or aliens.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's kind of badass that we went to the moon. Nobody else is pretty flabbergasted that we managed to do that. I'm still to this day. To this day, we left this Earth's atmosphere, something that billions of people had wished of doing, managed to do it. And now we act like it's somewhat routine because we could do it, so long as we wanted to within probably six months to a year at any given time.
Yeah.
Just have to make a landing craft.
I kind of use it that way, Matt. I go, we landed on the moon. So like,
what, we're done?
No, like when people say, oh, we can't do that, it's impossible. I go, we fucking landed on the moon. If we can land on the fucking moon, we can do pretty much anything. We put our minds to it. Because the minute calculations that have to be made, the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, maybe calculations that have to be made just to get that rocket off the ground, then to get that ship to the moon, and then to bring it back against all odds in Apollo 13 like they did.
Yeah.
We should be able to do whatever the fuck we want to do as a society. We should be able to accomplish any goal we set out for ourselves. People go like, oh, you jumped too far. The moon but the moon shows you the optimal intelligence of the human being, in my opinion.
Within Apollo 13,
yeah,
once they start to go off course and whatnot, and they have to course correct, and they have to do it by eye with the computing power that's less than the average scientific calculator.
Yeah.
Helping with them with navigation, and they managed to fit it in within the pocket. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's utterly crazy. This should be one of the biggest tragedies that the space program ever had.
Yeah.
Okay. As opposed to like Challenger, shuttle blowing up. This one made it out into space and blew up. The biggest fear.
Yeah.
It's bonkers. And then the time effort by so many countless individuals to get them from point A of the idea of some politician going, we're going to we got to beat the communists.
Yeah.
And our stolen Nazi scientists are going to get there faster than their stolen Nazi scientists. And we're not going to act like that person has a past. Okay, guys, we all good with this? It's exactly, we use Nazis to get to the moon. If you didn't know out there, a little history lesson, you're welcome. But our Nazis were doing it for the right reasons. But anywho, just the Herculean achievement in and of itself. But we had the right stuff and TV shows, from the Earth to the moon.
Yeah.
But I guess it's really hard to capture. Like First Man didn't do as well as people had hoped.
Yeah, I think it's a stellar film, but people don't gravitate to it. I love it.
It didn't draw me in.
Yeah, totally fair, man.
But it's beautiful to behold.
Yeah.
That one shot when they're doing that, whatever that eye tap photography is almost, but it's from the outer Earth atmosphere and the shuttle shooting off. It's just that tiny little chemtrail, bro. That's what it is. It's chemtrail. Government's fucking trying to turn our frogs gay.
Not the frogs, man. Not the frogs.
But just that, and it looks so small, and you realize how tiny we truly are when you look at it in the scope of space. It was a beautiful shot. It's got a bunch of those, but it just didn't connect. I wanted to more than anything. But with Apollo 13, we both did. I can say that with assurance.
Yeah. I did like the movie. I don't love it. I don't love it to the level that other people do, like putting it at the top, like obviously like you do, and a couple of like the two like Shannon and Mike were both like, well, Apollo 13 should be number one. It's like, yeah, I get why people feel that way, and I do enjoy the movie. I feel more emotionally moved by Cinderella Man and by Frost Nixon. I feel more intellectually intrigued by Frost Nixon, whereas Apollo 13, I think, is just like, that's an American movie. That's a movie about America, Americana, really, because of how the ingenuity of Americans got him up there, but also how the just the intelligence of the people that were selected to be part of this program, who are Americans, were able to figure out how to get that capsule back home. And so it has weight with that. In my opinion. Yeah.
Would they have to fit whatever it is, a square air filter into a round hole?
Yeah.
We got to just science the shit out of this.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, science, just like with The Martian. I just got to science the shit out of this. And you're like, yeah, you do, man. Good luck. And he does it. And you're like, dude, humans are awesome.
Yeah. Humans can be quite awesome. Very, very true.
It's pretty sweet.
Okay. Well, there's our separate lists for the top 10 Ron Howard films. We're going to put these lists together, create the overall official top 10 movies of Ron Howard list here. Let me get the bongos.
All right. And then after that, we'll have Manuel's list and also shout outs.
Yeah, the shout outs.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would assume Frost Nixon is number one.
Yes. Frost
1-2 versus 1-3.
Yep. Frost Nixon number one.
So Apollo 13, 2.
Did you send the shout outs? I do not have the shout outs, so I don't know if you sent it or not.
I emailed it to you.
Okay. All right.
To reply to the email you sent me.
Oh, okay. There it is. Boom. Got it. Sorry about that. Let's do it.
You had A Beautiful Mind at 4?
Let's see. That I did. Yes. Beautiful Mind at 4.
All right. 4.
Just rosining up the bow. Yeah.
Rush was what, 5-8?
Rush. Yes. My 5. Yes. You're 8.
Okay. I have my 4. It's the only other one we have in common, I believe.
Okay. What's your 4?
Gung-Ho.
You son of a bitch. You put it high on purpose so it would make the fucking lists.
Oh, really? So I can die on the Gung-Ho mountain, which honestly is an anthill?
You're crafty. It is a small hill.
It's tiny.
Fine. Put it on there.
Do I think you engineered your list to put Apollo 13 at 3 after having consulted other people? So you didn't want it to overtake Frost Nixon?
How dare you? I would never go that far. I'm not nefarious like you with the lists.
I don't dance around with my list and start showing other people and, crowdsource it.
All right. Where are we at?
Crowdsource it. Oh, we also have Willow, do we not?
Yeah, Willow. I was just going to say, yeah. I have it at 7.
Okay. So let's do Rush at 6, Willow at 7.
Okay.
What's your next highest?
The Paper at 6.
All right, I got Backdraft at 6.
Oh, give me a fucking break. Come on.
Oh, dude.
Are you going to flip the fucking coin?
You're damn straight I'm flipping the coin.
All right. Well, just go ahead and put Backdraft there. Right?
All right, easy enough.
No, flip the fucking coin.
Dude, flip-flop here, much. Make up your mind.
Flip the coin.
Flip-flop. Flip-flop. Yep. Old wishy-washy.
Heads. Oh, no, it's using that.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Of course. What a surprise.
All right, let my cousin update the list.
Yeah, let him add the numbers.
Yep.
All right. Where are we at now?
One left at 10. What's your next highest?
Ooh, oh shit. 8. Splash.
Ransom beat you at 7.
No! Oh, fuck, man. Such a crap film. All right.
There we go. I think that list looks pretty delicious right there. Pretty delicious. All right.
Partnerships. They're never easy. All right. All right. The top 10 Ron Howard movies. Yeah. At number 10.
Ransom.
At number 9.
The Paper.
At number 8.
Backdraft.
At number 7.
Willow.
At number 6.
Rush.
At number 5.
Gung-Ho.
At number 4.
A Beautiful Mind.
At number 3.
Cinderella.
At number 2, Cinderella Man. At number 2.
Cinderella, sorry. Apollo 13. I just wrote down Cinderella as shorthand.
And our number 1 Ron Howard movie is
Frost Nixon.
Yeah.
Frost and Nixon.
It seems perfect for us as we're both fans of UK stuff. So it's an American UK film. UK film.
A joint.
Right, joint. Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, shout out time, I guess, Matt.
Well, I've got Manuel's list.
Oh, yes, yes.
Loaded.
Yes, Manuel.
Says,
go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Or hey, guys, thanks for choosing one of my topics this month. Can't believe you guys haven't done a Ron Howard episode. No, neither could we. But better late than never. Well, anyway, here's my top 10, and I can't wait to hear your personal rankings and for you to read my list at the end of the show. At 10, he's got The Grinch.
Okay. That was on my, what do you call it? Honorable mentions. Okay.
How Grinch was?
Yeah. I like Grinch.
He put a must-see in my household every Christmas or every year on Christmas, along with the animated one. Glad Ron Howard didn't just do a shot-for-shot remake and actually tried to do a version that expands on the Grinch mythos for better or worse, but at least it's different. At 9, he's got Splash.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah were unknown stars at the time because of their big star charisma here. Somewhat ridiculous, yet charming and fun at the same time. Yeah. 8, he's got Willow.
Okay.
Had I seen it at a younger age, it would rank as one of my favorite fantasy films of all time, but it's not without its charm. And Warwick Davis is such a delight. 7 is The Paper. Congratulations. A great ensemble cast held together by Howard's directing. 6 is Frost Nixon.
Ooh.
Said he saw this in history class during high school. All right. And I was the only one who enjoyed it. No regrets. Frank Langella and Michael Sheen going back and forth is just a tour de force, and not just great acting, but great screenwriting, editing, and directing as well. 5 is A Beautiful Mind. 4 is Parenthood. 3 is Cinderella Man. I'm not reading all these at the end here. 2, I'll read his last 2. 2 is Rush.
Oh, wow. That's hot.
Yeah, fast-paced and well-edited. This is further proof that Ron Howard can make a great sports movie. And Apollo 13 at number 1. So there you go. Sometimes the obvious choice is the best choice.
Oh, boy.
There's a man who understands life. He's learned, wise.
Yeah. If you say so. All right. Where are we at? Time for the shout-outs?
We are going to do the shout-outs right now.
Let's do it.
All right. You got yours open?
Let me bring it up here. Yes, I do. Let's do it.
All right. Ready when you are.
All right. Christine Biernut.
Andrew Robinson.
Francisco Ramirez.
Michael Bauer.
Colton Thompson.
Heinrich Winterland.
Tom Daniel Williams.
Phil Knuckles.
Ryan Latonin.
Ray Rosh.
Rob Miller.
Ryan Payne.
Nice. Colson Kouliopoulos.
Callie Onken.
Justin Kelly.
Ruben Enriquez.
Lachlan Skinner.
Benny Haste.
Charles Kim.
Joseph Curran.
Fred Castillo.
Edward Wilshire.
Jay Scotty St. Clair. What's up, Jay Scotty?
And Charles J. Clark.
Yes. Sam Monsalve.
Zachariah Kaufman.
Jeff Dickin.
Sean Labua.
Francisco J. Torres.
Connor Teal.
Michael D. Dyke.
Robert Francisco Suarez.
Michael Kelly.
Or Sorace. Sorry, I apologize for that. Tim Reimert.
No worries. Brandon Monroe.
Dominic Greaves.
Cody Rexford.
Eric Bruin.
Matt Simmons.
Kyle Beckworth.
Jonathan Caro.
Jeff Kelly.
Jeremy Bowers.
Josh Stetz.
James Petty.
Billy Williams.
Christopher Brockman.
Blake Gant,
Haley Morton,
Cameron Chapman,
Alex Russell,
Bobby Michael,
Daniel McCarty,
Stephen Armstrong,
the great Paul Cree,
Drew Burkhart,
Stacy Flores,
Luke Allison,
Mark Fawcett,
Kristen Kurtz,
Bobby Carney,
Gareth Weldon,
Ian Horner,
Timothy R. Williams,
Chris Lemke,
the In Love with Movies podcast, Nick Baldwin,
Johanna Linavirta,
JIC 317,
DJ Red Hot Cox, me and Floyd,
Jordan Wiltshire,
Kyle Spahn,
Ahmad Ali,
Darren Bush,
Angela Dashner,
James Winstead,
Pasquale Bufamonte,
Dan Petraglia,
Bernie Knapp,
Sean Scott,
Christopher McIntyre,
Louis Berrigan,
Josh Lawrence,
Chelsea Lewis,
Adelardo Fuente,
Reagan Lovig,
Rodrigo Valverde III,
Manuel Rivera,
Stephen Westaway,
Lawrence Witt,
Andre Constantinesco,
Steve Schlackemeyer,
Catherine Samuels,
oh, thank you, Todd Whitke,
Houston Bodley,
Roque Orellana,
Keith Archer,
Matt Hannigan,
Maurice Robinson,
Alan Snuffleupagus Bennett,
Marcus Davenport,
Brandon Caridi,
Ravi Prasad,
Joe Farrelly,
Charlie McKenna,
Gunnar R.
Mark Menchaca,
Josh Mabry,
Matthew Jansen,
Ben Cartwright,
Nizar Alabasi,
John Dowse,
Wando Reyes,
Josh Murphy,
Josh Sachs,
George Menchaca,
Dale Varley,
Cody Markham,
Phil Neglia,
Chris Consiglio,
Wayne Murphy,
Ashley Prowls,
Edward Dobbins,
Johannes Schmidt,
David Gregson,
Zujayanth Fernando,
Christian Lundgaard Keuler,
Ian Brick Beltran Lopez,
Evan Zoller,
Thorsten Aumuller,
Eric Bloor,
Zach Butts,
Jacob Poland,
Philip Lane,
Kevin Foss,
Jen Kemp,
Ben Archambault,
Ryan McKenna,
Andy Tan,
Brian Akins,
Mike Shea,
Mike, Alexander Marzonia,
Garth Wizenant,
Deborah Torres,
Mike Barrington,
Ed Buskirk,
Jeff Saliba,
Noel Kelleher,
Jim Payne,
hey, the Cinephile, Steve, thank you,
David Mitchell Baker,
Andy Ortiz,
John Keefe,
Nathan Williams,
Kristen Smith,
Matthew Lee Cravens,
Marcel Behrman,
James Trapani,
Drew Inns,
Dan Nye,
Seth Shearer,
Laura Deverson,
Andrew Hayes,
Matt Hund,
Andrew Marker,
Chris Jones,
Luke Larson,
Chris Cabrera,
Julian Key,
Robert Haley,
Joey Anthony,
Christos Alexakos,
and finally, Anthony Casanova.
Boom. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Well, our thanks to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. Jump in there. We got that live show once again, February 4th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is open to everybody. And then the 18th of February, a Thursday at noon. We're coming to your houses. You guys can sit in and watch us live as we do the show. And it goes out for the plebes. Let's just call them what they are, the plebes. Mm-hmm. Goes out to everybody else on Tuesday, and you can listen in, but you can watch us on that Thursday and the 18th at noon Pacific Standard Time. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you guys there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Come join us. Let's have some fun. Pseudo live show without us being actually in your city, but we will virtually be in your city. So come join us live for that. Come armed with the comments and your questions. We're going to have a lot of fun recording it live for sure. I
think we should call it the first congregation for the Book of Dave. And will you make the first, will you make the first one? Exactly. We'll do a benediction. We'll do all of it.
We'll do all of it. Yeah.
I cannot wait. We got baptisms at the end. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to get those priest robes out. I got to dust off those things.
I got the incense thing and I can swing it around in the background. Do like a Gregorian chant. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. And just.
Dave is like Jesus with a mullet. All right.
He's class. How dare you? He's class. All right. Well, we look forward to meeting the first congregation of the Book of Dave.
Absolutely.
On the 18th. And You can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost. If you want, please check out Settle the Score or Dropping Dimes, but you can find all that from me on Twitter at Matt Nost. And check out our Instagram. It is at the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10.
Yep. And shout out to Bobby Carney. He's been great work for us on our social media. Much love to you, brother, man. Please follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And and remember, don't forget, we have a YouTube show in case you're listening to us and you haven't come over to the YouTube channel. Go over there, type in our names in YouTube and the Top 10, and you'll see that channel there. Go and subscribe. That's how you're going to get a chance to watch us live. Right? It's like watch our shows. You can watch all our shows on camera, but to watch us live, the $10 and above patrons, that's where you're going to need to go. And, you'll get the link, but why not subscribe as well? Yeah. And then if you want, come on over to my channel as well, youtube.com/John Roca Says. Come see all the stuff we got going on. Just crossed 15,000 subscribers. So, piece by piece, step by step, come aboard and see all we got going on. All right, that's it. Thank you all so much for being here. And we'll talk to you. Oh, we got one more thing. Go ahead, Matt.
Just real quickly,
yes.
It's youtube.com/the Top 10 Podcast, just like the Instagram.
Okay.
So number 10.
There you go.
I think we forget to say it every fucking week.
We do. I know. That's why I try to throw the search terms in there. So
I know. The Top 10 Podcast. I'm no help. You're at least throwing search terms out. It's not like I'm over here. I just got my incense. We're just doing
our thing. Just swinging it around. Swinging it around.
Can't wait, baby. Can't wait. It's like my adultery, man. I'm just swinging the mic around.
I'm going to have to get an altar and put some candles out for the Book of Dave.
Perfect.
All right. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show.